Hey everyone, it's Sarah. In this guide, I'll be covering the entire V Rising 0 to 91 progression in around 30 minutes, so feel free to pause whenever you need. I've also included timestamps in the description, a quick summary at the end of every gear tier, and some extra infos at the end of the video. With that said, let's jump right in. So, your very first gear is pretty much straightforward. Following the tutorial at start of the game, you will immediately get the Bone Guard set, which puts you at gear level 10. Now, as you keep following the tutorial, it will then eventually ask you to craft a simple workbench. After putting down the simple workbench, you now have the ability to craft the plated Bone Guard armor set, reinforced bone weapons, and blood bone ring. Once fully equipped, it will increase your gear level to 20. At this point, you should have unlocked the furnace as well, which you can find by pressing B to build and looking under the refinement tab. However, you will need 480 stones and 60 copper ore to make it. The best location to farm the copper ore is, of course, at the copper mine. Once you have the copper ore, make the furnace and process the rest into copper ingots. Go back into your simple workbench and craft a copper weapon. Equip it, and you are now gear level 23. Your next gear is the Night Stalker set, which will increase your gear level to 27. But first, you're going to need leather. Now you can get leather by looting, but the best and fastest way is to defeat Keely the Frost Archer, as she unlocks the ability to craft them. But if you're having trouble killing her, don't worry, like I said, you can just loot the leather. And the best place to actually loot that is in the Bandit Trapper Camp, which is where the boss is located as well. This will require a bit of time and repeated looting, but as long as you avoid engaging the boss and take it slow clearing the surrounding mobs, you should eventually get enough to craft the set. However, to complete your gear and get to level 30, you will also need to fight another boss called Goreswine the Ravager in order to unlock the recipe for crafting a Gravedigger ring. You should roughly be the same level as the boss, unless you're playing on brutal mode. But if the boss is a bit difficult for you, there is another way, but it's a bit situational. Goreswine and Lidia, another V-Blood boss, have a set route where they move around the map, and sometimes they cross paths. When they fight each other, Goreswine almost always loses, which gives you a free kill as long as you're there to extract it before the boss disappears. This intersection right here would be a good spot to check on from time to time if you want to try this. So, with the Night Stalker set, plus the ring, and a copper weapon, you should be gear level 30 now. To progress further, you need to complete the tutorial Thirst for Power, which requires you to take down 3 V-Blood bosses. Once you've done that, you will unlock the research desk. Put it down and check it out. If you have collected books while looting, put those in your inventory, then interact with the research desk. Any recipe available should be highlighted, and by pressing Discover, it will unlock them. If you don't have enough books, you can use paper instead. Pressing Discover while you have paper in your inventory will unlock a recipe for you, although it's random. On weapons, you will unlock merciless copper weapons. Magic will unlock ring upgrades to your Gravedigger ring. And on armor, you will unlock the upgrades for your Night Stalker set. To get a merciless copper weapon, you will need whetstones. You can get it from looting or by fighting the boss Grayson the Armorer, located at the Bandit Armory. Defeating the boss is one thing. However, to actually craft the whetstones, first go to your furnace and it will tell you that you would need 1 copper ingot and 12 stone dust. While you can occasionally loot stone dust, the easiest way to get them is when you're making stone bricks, by putting a lot of stones in a grinder. Stone dust is a byproduct of processing stone bricks. You will do this a lot anyway since you'll most likely build your castle. Funnily enough, you would also need whetstones to craft a grinder. If you don't want to defeat the boss, or simply feel like it's too challenging for you at the moment to get the whetstone recipe, don't worry, like I mentioned, you can just get them by looting around and killing mobs. The place I highly recommend to do that is the place where the boss Grayson is located as well, at the Bandit Armory, or the bandit encampments on the mid-top and mid-bottom of the map. With that out of the way, let's continue with the remaining upgrades. However, if you're not too familiar with the game yet, the most tricky part for this one would be crafting the ring upgrades. Because to do that, you will need Greater Blood Essence. Greater Blood Essence don't drop while killing enemies. You have to process it using Blood Press. Making it is easy enough, but the recipe for producing a lot of Greater Blood Essence is locked behind the boss, Tristan the Vampire Hunter. He should still be a bit higher level than you, and also a bit of a pain to fight, especially since he wanders around the map where random mobs are patrolling as well. But don't worry, it's not entirely impossible to progress if you can't defeat him yet. You just need to collect 4 unsullied hearts. You can get these hearts on any mobs, although it is a little uncommon. If you've gotten pretty good drops so far, and haven't been accidentally popping them to refill your blood pool, then you should be able to make 1 Greater Blood Essence for the ring. For your Night Stalker armor upgrades, you should already have access to all the materials needed, so it should be fairly easy to craft. Fully equipping all of these 3 new gear upgrades will put you to gear level 41. After that, you're one step closer to moving on Dunley Farmlands. To get beyond gear level 41, you need to fight the last and the main V-Blood boss of Act 1, Quincy the Bandit King. The boss Quincy can be found in the Bandit Stronghold. Unfortunately, the entrance to the stronghold is blocked by a thick wooden gate, which can only be unlocked by 2 methods, and both involves killing a V-Blood boss. The first method, explosives. By defeating Clive the Firestarter, you can unlock the alchemy table and the ability to craft minor explosive boxes. The minor explosive box will blast the door open for you, although the door will eventually respawn back after a set time. So if you have to repeatedly try to beat the boss, this could require a bit of materials to make. Which takes us to the second and most reliable method, bear form. Can be unlocked by defeating Kodia, the ferocious bear. If you have the form, you can just easily transform, press your skill, and break the door open each time. I do recommend, however, to defeat both bosses anyway, especially Clive the Firestarter, because the alchemy table is really important. It allows you to craft potions that can heal and buff you. Speaking of alchemy table, you should also work on farming flowers as early as you can, because they are the main ingredients for crafting potions. They make all the difference in a fight, especially if you're tackling brutal. Defeating Quincy will unlock smithy, tailoring bench, and the recipe to craft iron ingot, and the Hollow Fang set for your next progression. Congratulations! You are now ready to step into Dunley Farmlands. The next stop is the Haunted Iron Mines, located just above the Bandit Stronghold. This is where you farm a new material, iron ore. But be careful because it's a lot more dangerous than the copper one. Transform the ores you collected into iron ingots, which is what you need to craft an iron weapon. This should increase your gear level from 41 to 44. Next, you need to craft the Hollow Fang set. But this will require cotton yarns to make. For that, you need to kill the first boss of this area, Beatrice the Tailor. She unlocks both the loom and the recipe for cotton yarn. You can find her at Dawnbreak Village. I do suggest, however, that you take your time to clear out the surrounding mobs in that place first, because there's a lot of them. And the boss is gonna move around a lot too, so if you're not extra careful, you'll die. You would need many cottons for the yarn as well. There are cotton farm spots in the map, and you can get them by harvesting their cotton plants. Although the places do have garlic debuffs, and the garlic makes you really vulnerable, it increases the damage you take the more stacks you have, so make sure to drink a garlic resistance potions or just be careful when farming. Once you have the complete set plus an iron weapon, it should put you to gear level 47. Then you have to defeat Leandra, the Shadow Priestess, and replace your ring with a Scourge Stone pendant. She unlocks the recipe for it, as well as the ability to craft Scourge Stones, the main material for making the pendant. And the artisan table as well, where you will craft your accessories from now on. With a Scourge Stone pendant equipped, you are now level 50. Following gear level 50, you would be graduating from the research desk to the brand new study, which you get by defeating Maha, the Dark Savant. It basically functions the same as the research desk. You can unlock recipes with books, or instead of paper, you now use scrolls, which can be looted and drops from enemies of Dunley Farmlands and beyond. But that only lets you access new recipes, like merciless iron weapons, and upgraded versions of your Hollow Fang set and Scourge Stone pendant. Now that you're level 50, you should be a few levels higher than Tristan the Vampire Hunter and Vincent the Frostbringer, the two bosses you would need to get material recipes for crafting merciless iron weapons. The two materials you need for this weapon are Greater Blood Essence and Rainforest Planks. I already mentioned Tristan before, and Vincent is the boss who gives the recipe for Rainforest Planks. If you can't defeat them yet, don't worry, you can still pick up Rainforest Planks and Unsullied Hearts while looting and killing mobs, so you should still be able to craft at least one merciless iron weapon for your progression. I personally think it's possible to wait out Tristan until you feel a bit stronger if you don't want to deal with him. But the sooner you kill Vincent, the better, because he unlocks the prison cells too. If you find a high blood type, especially 100% blood, while exploring the world, you can dominate and capture them, and put them into prison cells. That way, you can keep extracting blood potions from them instead of killing them in one drink. The blood quality and type in your blood pool buffs you greatly, and one of your major advantages during boss fights. So, when talking progression, this is a huge help. The Scourge Stone pendant upgrade should be relatively easy to get just by looting. Your Hollow Fang set though, for that, you would need thick leather this time. Unlike leather and other essential materials we've discussed so far, thick leather doesn't drop from enemies or looted anywhere at all. You have to make it in the tannery. So you actually need the recipe. The V-Blood boss who will give you that is Frostmaw the Mountain Terror. He roams around here, in the far right side of the map called Hollowed Mountains. Now, if you're stuck with this guy, I feel you. This is one of the bosses that I don't really like fighting, and he gatekeeps your progress hard because you can craft your armor set without the thick leather. But don't panic, there is still a way to get thick leather without fighting this guy entirely. However, you would still need to fight another boss. That boss I just mentioned is Bane the Shadowblade. Unfortunately, he isn't that easy to kill either, and he wanders around the map, which means while you're fighting him, there might be patrolling mobs that could potentially join in and make things easy or difficult for you. It's a double-edged sword essentially, because they can go for the boss or you. If you're lucky, you might be able to make Bane and Jade, the other vampire hunter, another boss, fight each other on the road and get a free kill and extract. But most of the time, Bane will be the one who wins, despite Jade being levels higher than him. So, there's that. The only thing I can recommend that might help you is using double shields for skills, like Frost Barrier, Chaos Barrier, or Ward of the Damned while fighting him, because this is what worked for me. When you do defeat Bane, he will give you a human form. Transforming into human allows you to access the Dunley Farmland market, where you can use silver coins to purchase items. This NPC sells thick leather, about 8 pieces per stocks for 6 silver coins each. Once the timer on the top right expires, the stocks rotate. Sometimes there will be no thick leather, so you have to wait again and repeat until you get enough of what you need. This alternative method requires some time and patience. So, quick checklist: Merciless Iron Weapon, completed upgraded Hollow Fang armor sets, upgraded pendant. So, successfully crafting all of this will increase your gear level to 61. Unlike Quincy, the last boss of Act 2, Octavian the Militia Captain, doesn't really give you the recipe for your next gear. But he unlocks the Ancestral Forge, which is where you will craft stronger weapons. You can find him here in the Bastion of Dunley. If you've ever gotten this fragmented looking weapon before with blue aura, that is a rare ancestral weapon. And this is about the time when it actually becomes useful to you. If you haven't gotten one at all, don't worry, you can buy those at the Ruins of Mortium area, on the right side of the map. There will be Rift Incursions level 1, and clearing them makes the enemies drop these lesser Stygian shards. Sometimes, the Primal Blood Soul or the boss at the end of each rift would drop random rare ancestral weapons too. The merchant at the bottom of Mortium sells the rare weapons, and you can buy one with 750 lesser Stygian shards. Since you're gonna be farming lesser Stygian shards anyway for your weapons, I'd like to mention that they can also be used in the Altar of Awakening, from defeating General Elena the Hollow. Awakenings are basically passives, extra boost to your spells, powers, or stats. This becomes more valuable in late game, but will also serve you very well gradually in combat and especially with bosses as you progress. This icon right here means the boss will give you a passive slot when you defeat them. Now back to weapon crafting. In order to craft a rare weapon, you have to put the shattered rare weapon in the Ancestral Forge. You would need Greater Blood Essence, Radium Alloy, and the Merciless Iron Weapon version of that shattered weapon type. So for example, a rare Ancestral Axe needs a Merciless Iron Axe as material. You should be stronger than Tristan now, so I recommend getting the Greater Blood Essence recipe by defeating him if you haven't. Now what is that Radium Alloy? That's a new material that you can obtain through looting certain areas of Gloomrot map, or more efficiently, by defeating the boss Ziva the Engineer. The boss is located here at the Transcendum Machine Factory, and you can loot that place for Radium Alloy as well, in boxes, chests, etc. But the amount varies depending on RNG. Another place where you can find Radium Alloy is the Transcendum Power Plant. But that one is a very risky area at your current level. Lots of more powerful mobs that can easily kill you. I'm only mentioning it as an alternative, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're not so familiar with the game yet. Now, if you do defeat Ziva and you have the recipe, you can check the furnace for crafting Radium Alloy. It says tech scraps, which you can get easily from looting the Gloomrot areas, sulfur, and sludge canister. Since you defeated Ziva, she also gave you the ability to make a fabricator too. You can craft the sludge canister using glass, iron, and mutant grease. Mutant grease should be easy to get from killing mutant mobs or looting in Gloomrot areas as well. For the next armor set, Dawnthorn Regalia, you will need to defeat Angram the Purifier. You can find him in the Pools of Rebirth, Gloomrot Tout. He walks around the area, and the place is surrounded by smaller enemies as well. So I recommend clearing those enemies first before going after the boss. You can loot sludge canister in this place too, but like I said, it's all RNG. Once you've defeated Angram, check your tailoring bench and you will find the materials you need to craft that set. The two bosses that will give the material recipes for crafting Dawnthorn set are these two, Ben the Old Wanderer and Ungora the Spider Queen. You will need to fight Ben first. He walks around the Cursed Forest map, and the challenge with this boss is not his damage, but the map itself is working against you as you try to chase him and kill him. Imagine Beatrice, but worse. But if you end up defeating the boss, he will give you the recipe for making pristine leather for the armor, and you can craft this cloak as well. If you wear it, you will no longer be afflicted with curse, and you can freely explore the area. Finally, you have to go to the Spider Cave to fight the Spider Queen. Kill all the spiders you encounter as you make your way inside. Loot the cocoons and silkworms because you need them to make the silk materials. And then defeat the Spider Queen for the silk recipe. With those two bosses out of the way, you can now complete the Dawnthorn armor set. Wearing the full set should put you at gear level 67. The final boss of Act 3 is Cyril the Cursed Smith, who can be found in the Cursed Village in the Cursed Forest. Defeating him will enable you to craft the anvil, a created version of the furnace, and dark silver ingots. The anvil will allow you to craft weapons crucial for the endgame, particularly the dark silver and sanguine weapons. But before we talk about improving your weapon, let's discuss the 3 essential materials that you would need first. First material, Primal Blood Essence. So, to craft the next weapons, you need the Primal Blood Essence. Remember Jade, the vampire hunter? I mentioned her before. If you haven't defeated the boss at this point, track her down and defeat her for the recipe. You should be at a higher level than her now. Second material, Spectral Dust. You will need this material to craft dark silver ingots. The boss you need to fight is Falrot the Soul Taker, which can be found in the ancient village at the Cursed Forest. Third material, Dark Silver Ore. This is mineable at the Sacred Silver Mine in Silverlight Hills, just like copper and iron. But remember to drink the highest silver resistance potion you have and wear a cloak and bag with the highest resistance as well before you mine. Now, you can't barge in directly at the front gate of the mine because it's gonna be closed by a metal gate. You have to go around the side and take this path to a hidden entrance inside the mine. Then you can mine as much ore as you can, but be careful though because your silver stacks can rise very fast. To exit, you need to run in front and try to pull the lever open to the gate before you get interrupted. It's guarded by a boss, so sneak in if you have to or run fast. When you get back to your base, load the silver ore on the furnace and add the spectral dust too. When combined, you can now produce dark silver ingots. Once you have enough, you can finally make a dark silver weapon. Now, at the moment, you are using the level 20 rare ancestral weapon, but the dark silver weapon you crafted will be level 23. You have two options. First, upgrade the rare ancestral weapon at the Ancestral Forge by using the dark silver weapon. It will increase the rare weapon level to 24. So, if you equip that, you're gonna be gear level 71. The second option is to equip the level 23 dark silver weapon itself. Then you will be gear level 70. So now let's continue with the next gear progression. Unlock a new amulet called the Blood Merlet Amulet by defeating Baron de Bouchon. Now, this guy is really annoying, but if you want to make the fight easy, you can just look for a cheese method for him on YouTube and you should be fine. With the Blood Merlet Amulet equipped, you should reach gear level 74 or 75 depending on your choice earlier. Moving on, our next boss target is Henry Blackbrew the Doctor. You will unlock the last research structure that you need. Replacing the study is the Athenaeum. Access the Athenaeum. Using books or schematics, you can unlock sanguine weapon crafting, upgraded variation of Dawnthorn armor set, and amulets. Even better buff potions. Defeating Matka the Curseweaver in the nest of Curseweaver at the Cursed Forest gives you the recipe for crafting ghost yarn, the materials you need to craft the upgraded variation of Dawnthorn set. To make the upgraded amulet, you would need to be able to craft power cores, which the recipe you will get from Voltatia the Power Master. And you also need to defeat Azariel the Sunbringer inside the Bright Haven Cathedral in Silverlight Hills to unlock gold crafting, a material you need to craft sanguine weapons. Both gold and power cores are essential endgame materials. Now let's set aside the sanguine weapon for a moment, which is the next weapon that you're gonna be crafting. Let's say you have upgraded your armor set and amulet, but you're still using either the level 24 rare ancestral weapon or the level 23 dark silver weapon. In this case, you should be at gear level 81 or 82 in total. You can upgrade your rare weapon for the last time up to level 27, but I don't really recommend doing that. I personally think it's a waste of materials unless you grind it a lot. The sanguine weapon itself is level 26 and should get you around gear level 84. Yes, you will lose the bonus attributes by switching to the base sanguine weapon, but it's okay. For now, I want you to keep your rare weapon. Don't throw it away or destroy it if it has good attributes. You can just transfer them later. Equip your sanguine weapon and head to the Mortium. And do the Rift level 2. Start farming for greater blood shards. Occasionally, the primal blood boss of the Rift may drop epic, and if you're lucky, even legendary shattered weapons. If not, you're there for the greater blood shards anyway, because you can use that to buy epic ancestral weapon, the weapon with purple aura, of your choice, at the merchant located in the top left of the Mortium. Each pieces cost 1,500 greater blood shards, and it has approximately 10 to 15% chance of rolling gold. Aside from the boss, this is the only and most reliable way of obtaining a gold weapon that you want. You can use your sanguine weapon to craft either an epic or legendary ancestral weapon, the gold aura one, in the Ancestral Forge. But I say keep rolling for the legendary weapon. Although there's no difference in your gear level, both are level 30 weapons, but compared to the epic, The legendary one has the following: fixed and higher stats, modified skills and unique magic effect, cooler aesthetics. There's another crucial material needed to make your weapon, and it's the onyx tears. Yes, both epic and legendary weapons use this material for crafting. And in order to get the recipe, you have to defeat Lord Styx the Night Champion. You can find him in Dracula's Demise, just between Dunley Farmlands and Gloomrot. If it's hard to defeat him, don't worry, I got you. You can head to the Gloomrot North Merchant instead, who sells 3 pieces of onyx tears for 200 gold sun coins each. If you need more coins, you can repeatedly loot Brighthaven City or craft them at your fabricator using gold and silver coins. Just like with the other merchants though, his stocks rotate as well, so you're gonna have to check it occasionally until he finally sells them. You really only need 3 for one weapon though, as long as your ancestral forge is in a room with forge flooring, or the discounted material cost buff. Now with a full set of upgraded Dawnthorn armor set, upgraded Merlet amulet, and a legendary ancestral weapon, your gear level should now be level 88. Afterwards, it's pretty much straightforward from here. The 2 bosses besides Styx, Gore Crusher, gives the recipe for making bat leather. General Valencia unlocks the recipe for shadow weave. Both are the materials required to make the final gear set, Dracula's armor. The remaining 4 bosses before Dracula provides the recipe for each set piece. After successfully beating them and equipping the full armor, you will be level 91. In normal mode, Dracula is level 90, so you will be 1 gear level higher than him, the complete endgame gear set. But in brutal mode, he's level 94, and you remain level 91 max. And that's the challenge. And that's it, you guys. Before you leave though, I made some reference sheets with extra info that might help you. I will be flashing them on the screen right after this, so pause the video anytime if you need them. And if you think this video was helpful, show a little love by pressing like and subscribe, because it will help this small channel grow. If you have questions or thoughts, comment down below. I'll try my best to answer them for you. Thank you so much for watching!